I love a good fix on a Saturday morning. Even if the thing ain't broke, I'm still partial to backing her out and fixing her. Because if you're on the lawn on a Saturday morning, you're in the firing zone for a fleeting conversation. The ultimate form of conversation between two humans. All you need is a couple of red-hot cliches, a wink, and you're right. Here comes one now.
G'day, Todd. Car stuff, mate.
Yeah, bloody alternator.
Can't trust them.
Just like women.
Can't live with them.
Can't feed them to the sharks.
It's life, eh?
Yeah. And there you have it. A beautifully concise, deep, intellectual, witty, honest, man-to-man, fleeting conversation.
Hey Todd, car stuff, mate.
I don't know, see, it's fine. It's all right. I think I'll just get the thing out. The thing. Some people just don't get it. Yeah. No, that's easy to fix. Just take the engine out of the car, take out the clutch and adjust the tension by hand. You got that? Okay, bye mum. Mobile phones. Unfortunately, in this modern age, they are a necessary evil. I know in my work as a tradesman, I use my mobile every day, but it worries me that every time I hold it to my head, radiation is blasting down my ear and into my brain. Now, I don't want to get chemotherapy before I've brought some little Todds into this world, so I obviously need some sort of protection. Now, if you've ever had an X-ray, you'll know professionals use a lead apron to protect them from radiation. But obviously you can't wrap a lead apron around your head, not without copping a little bit of stick from the blokes at the building site. So, if you want to protect yourself from your phone, your best bet is to make a lead casing for it. And you can easily make a lead casing from all the lead you've already got hanging around your house in the form of lead pencils. Yeah, hang on. The great thing about having a phone covered in lead pencils, apart from being cancer-free, is that you've always got a pencil on hand if you need to take a message. Yep, Mum? Oh, lovely. When is it? Yep, hang on. I'll bring some Devon.
G'day, nice mate.
Using power tools can be pretty dangerous. If you do happen to cut off your finger, or in this case, your thumb, then take a tip from Todd. Before you black out from blood loss, make sure you tape the digit somewhere handy, like your forehead. That way, when the ambulance officers arrive, they won't have to waste time looking for it. For years, the front line in the battle of the sexes has been that of the seat up, seat down question in the smallest room. Well, I'm going to show you how you and your lady friend will never have to worry about the toilet seat again. We've all seen one of these. The lids on these clever little bins open when you press your foot on the pedal. So why not apply the same technology to the toilet seat? Now, if you want the seat up, just put your foot on the pedal and the seat will rise automatically. Take your foot off the pedal and the seat will come down again. It's as simple as that. And there'll be no more silly arguments about the position of the toilet seat, and you'll have a bit more time to argue about the more important things. So take a tip from Todd and give your toilet the top treatment today. When you first start wooing a new lady friend, trust me, nothing will impress her more than a picnic. Women love the great outdoors and overpriced sliced meats. I'll have some pastrami, thanks. Before you meet your lady friend, you should do a recce of your picnic location to make sure the spot you have in mind is conducive to romance. This is perfect. Plenty of sun, some trees, and of course, soft grass. Well, this grass is a bit wet, but there's no need to panic. I reckon I can sort out both the dampness and the flatness problems with something a little more practical than a picnic blanket. Simply lay down some concrete. Pretty classy. Guaranteed to keep your bum dry and your wine glass upright. Practical and romantic. Well, the last thing you have to worry about is what happens if it rains. You don't want your date to turn sour, so why not provide a little bit of shelter? Our very own luxury, weatherproof, damp-proof, flat as a pancake picnic spot. She's beautiful, isn't she? With all the advantages of a little bit of privacy. So you come here much? Nothing like being in the great outdoors. You look lovely. G'day. Today I've got a great new gardening product for you. We all know the importance of recycling for the environment. Well, what better place to practice than your own garden? Just think of compost, grass clippings and manure. Well, now a company, Landmine Industries, has brought out a new range of products for your garden that are 100% recycled, 100% natural and 100% good for your garden. So, if you're doing a bit of repotting and you want to get a good fertiliser, well, for my money, nothing beats a good blood and bone, and this is it. Pole potting mix. Now, pole potting mix is a Cambodian byproduct, and it's a full-bodied bag of rich nutrients that'll bring your garden back to life. It's good for pots, lawns and flower beds. So for my money, these remain unbeatable value. But unfortunately, it has been hard to find since the early 80s, and now it's almost impossible to get. But Landmine Industries are proud to announce Milosevic mulch. Now, Milosevic mulch is a Balkan bone meal and has a slightly coarser texture than the pole potting mix, but is much more refined than the cheaper brands like that African stuff. And don't be stingy with it, because there's plenty more where that came from. Now, earlier on in the week, I went out to the factory to have a look at how this little bag of wonder comes about. So this is where the process begins. The raw materials are broken down into different bins depending on origin and quality. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but I just overheard them talking about the probability of a Macedonian product being available before the end of the year. So from those bins, the raw materials make their way down here. As you can see, this is where they're churned and broken down before being roasted in the furnace. I tell you what though, I'm a little nervous sitting up here, but I'd hate to see what would happen to a bloke if he fell in there. This is the reject bin. This is where all the bits that were too tough to break down go. Has anyone lost a ring?
I've got no problems with it because as long as it's none of my family members or no one that I associate with or know on a pretty close basis, people, I guess, getting chopped up every day at the morgue, so it happens, everyone knows it happens, and it's something you just live with, I guess.
I don't know, I just find it disgusting thinking about it.
What are you going to do with me after I die? Put me to good use.
Doesn't really matter if the people and the family, the relative is allowed it. I think that's all right. Yeah, it's better than using some more like chemicals, that kind of thing, or poisons.
I think we have to come a very long way in society before we can even start to look at those sorts of issues.
Pretty interesting stuff, hey? And I'd like to thank the good people out at Landmine Industries for letting us take a look around the factory. I only wish more companies were so environmentally aware. Well, there you have it. Don't these daisies look great? For me, this is what gardening's all about. Perfect sunny days and the heady aroma of wet soil mixed with a good fistful of fertiliser. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be dead for quids. If you're like me, you're a bloke with no rhythm, who can't dance to save his own life. But there will be occasions where you'll need to dance to impress the ladies. So what do? Here's the drum. These days, solar power has become incredibly cheap. You can pick up a couple of these things for a few bucks at your local Dick Smith store. Basically, these turn light into electricity. So what you need to do is turn them into little epaulettes for your jacket. There you go. Very Michael Jackson-esque. Now, I've run a couple of wires from the panels like so and clamped the wires onto my nipples. Now, when I go to tonight's rave, the lights will flash in time to the music, the panels will turn that into electricity, which will send my body into a rhythmic convulsion. The upshot being that I'll be able to dance in time to the music. So take a technological tip from Todd and some solar panel power. We'll put some groove in your moves. Oh, g'day. The sensitive new age guy of the 90s is now a lonely middle-aged man. Don't let this happen to you. Here are some top tips to ensure you blokes get a fairer share of the fairer sex in the noughties and beyond. If you're cohabitating or just visiting, it's the little things you do that score big points with the ladies. Simply by sitting down on the job, even the little ones, means you never have to run foul of the seat up, seat down conundrum, and you'll be a local hero by being one of the only blokes around that doesn't leave a puddle or a pool. Just don't tell anyone you whiz sitting down. Here's another tip to make the meeting of the sexes a little less of a battle. A lot of women get really dirty with guys drinking out of the carton and not using a glass. So here's a solution. When you get home from the shops, pour the contents of all the cartons straight into glasses and put them in the fridge. That way you still have the convenience of drinking straight out of the fridge, but you score points by using a glass. Don't you just love channel surfing? Doesn't it drive her wild? The thing to do when you feel like channel surfing is go and have a sit-down whiz and get yourself a glass of drink from the fridge. When you've scored enough points with these manoeuvres, she'll let you do what you want with the remote. Well, there's a couple of top man tips from Todd. From one Aussie bloke to all the others. Good luck. One of the great things about living in Australia is going to the beach. And one of the great things about going to the beach is taking a dip in the mighty blue ocean. But what am I going to do with these? If the petty thieves don't get them, there's always a chance a freak wave will sweep up and wash them away. What I need is somewhere to lock my valuables whilst I'm in the water. Something secure and safe. And there's nothing safer than a safe. That way when you come back from the surf, all your stuff will be exactly where you left it. You may not know it, but for some people, Christmas is the most depressing time of year. If you have no family or friends, the festive season can really accentuate those feelings of isolation and alienation. Now, you don't want to join the festive season suicide statistics, so tonight I've got a great DIY idea that'll make sure you don't end up in a box on Boxing Day. We've all seen this no mess, no fuss way to enjoy having a fish tank in your own home. Well, why not use this simple principle to enjoy having a no mess, no fuss Christmas dinner of your very own? First of all, grab yourself a video recorder. Now, since you don't have any other family or social occasions to film for prosperity, you're probably better off hiring one. Then, just bung a turkey in the oven and set the table with all the Christmas trimmings and your video camera. Now you're ready for your family. Where do you get them from? You want them to be relaxed in front of the camera and to be able to carry a decent dinner time conversation. So, why not use the money you saved on not buying presents to hire a bunch of actors? What a nice looking family. And then just video them enjoying Christmas dinner. Now come December 25, just pop your Christmas Day dinner tape in the video and pop your telly on the table. Then just sit back and enjoy having the family's company at this special time of year.
To the family at Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Oh, about time.
Yes. There you go. It's just beautiful.
Now, who wants what?
I'll have the
Somebody?
wee darling.
A leg?
What would you like?
Leg?
Would you like some breast, darling?
You'll miss me when I'm dead.
What are you doing with your life?
We never see you anymore. You don't bother writing or ringing.
See what you put your mother through, you ingrate.
Excuse me, I just have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, nice one, Todd.
All the time. Self-spell. This is supposed to be...
So take a tip from Todd. A little video, festive family will leave you alive to enjoy the true spirit of Christmas for a couple more years to come.
See?
I've done the best that I could for you.
Just look what's...
And you just don't even come home when it's my birthday.
Even the most law-abiding citizens never know when they're going to have to do time. And if you find yourself in a big house, it's a pretty scary environment. The first concern for most new prisoners is how to prevent themselves from becoming some hairy maniac's unwitting sex slave. Well, the answer to that is pretty simple. You can't. So, you may as well make it easy on yourself, and I'm going to show you how.
When your special man returns home from a hard day's work in the workshop or exercise yard, the last thing he wants to come home to is a messy cell or haggard-looking cellmate. So, make yourself look just that extra little bit special for him. I know it's hard sometimes, but he really will appreciate those little things you do for him. It shows you care. Run him a soothing foot bath. Then, put his favourite Jimmy Barnes song on the portable stereo. Roll at least 3 cigarettes for him so he can rest his tired fingers. A little bit of mood lighting to soothe those weary eyes. And a refreshing glass of boot polish liquor. You see, what I've created is a loving, relaxed environment so that when I do cop it, I know it's with a sense of genuine affection. You see, if you keep your cellmate happy, your sentence will fly by. And when you get out, remember, you weren't gay. You were just mates who had sex.
In recent years, a lot of Australians have discovered the rich tradition of bush tucker cooking. As far as this continent's natural produce goes, our Indigenous forebears have passed on the knowledge of what's hot and what's not. In fact, we are the only nation on Earth that actually eats its own coat of arms. But some folk take a dim view of this. There are all sorts of rules and regulations to stop the mass mastication of native fauna. But accidents do happen. And if you take a tip from Todd, you'll be there to reap the rewards. The modifications I've made to my bull bar are pretty simple. I've extended it so it's lower to the ground, and I've incorporated a wire net that slopes back at an angle so that all of the post-impact tucker stays put till you stop. Now, once you've bagged your meat, the cooking's up to you. I mean, I prefer to dig a hole, build a fire, and wrap my game in some paper bark for that traditional hungy-style meal.
But if you really want to impress, take the flesh home and dazzle your loved ones with variations such as fairy penguin frittata, bilby à l'orange, echidna eclairs, or, my personal favourite, roasted wombat. Now that's advanced Australian fare.